After a difficult first year, Todd Payten is doing amazing things with these young Cowboys, proving himself to be a coach of high quality. But you won't be surprised to know that Todd's playing career set him up for coaching success. As a 17-year-old, he made his first grade debut in Tim Sheens' iconic green machine, before having a season with Ricky Stewart's Roosters and linking up again with Sheens to be part of that magical 05 Tigers team. Today I chat to Todd about his playing career, his coaching philosophies and why the Cowboys are flying. Toddy, congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
Now, second on the ladder, September in sight. I suppose tricky question, but are you in any way surprised?
A little bit. If you had asked me before the season, we'd be sitting where we're sitting right at the moment, I would have taken it, but been a little bit surprised. But I've said it before, in no way are we overachieving at the moment because of the way we've won games. We've won games on the front foot, won them on the back foot, and we've defended for long periods. Yeah, so we're sitting second, round 21, and yeah, we deserve to be there.
Let's talk about your career before we do. The Payten household, fanatical rugby league?
Yeah, I grew up in Temora, and it is a sporting town. It's kind of anywhere south from Temora is AFL, anywhere north is NRL. So we're kind of 50-50 and just a typical small town upbringing, play sport on the weekend to try to stay out of trouble.
To a quick rise, Toddy. I mean, what stood out about you is your size and your skill, but Australian schoolboys are 96, and then Tim Sheens, after a couple of reserve grade games the same year, put you in first grade. Those Raiders sides in the mid-90s, just wall-to-wall superstars. How'd that feel?
Yeah, I was in awe of my first 12 months there, absolutely. We had some big names and I was just like a kid in a candy shop. Yeah, enjoyed going to training, yeah, and had some good people and some good staff there and loved every minute of it.
First grade debut, what stood out for you?
The speed of the game. Yeah, I played 2 reserve grade games, and before that it was under 17s and 19s, and got an opportunity through suspension and injury. And I just remember how quick it was. It wasn't any more physical than the reserve grade. Reserve grade was bash and barge, but this is certainly quicker. And I've told this story before too. So, period, I was on the park. There was a tackle around, you know, the scrum line, and I've come around the corner as last play, and I've shot off the line to try and put pressure on the kicker, and Paul Langmack, wily, experienced old competitor, just saw me come, went pass, and they went scored in the corner, and Laurie's on the far side of the field. I've got my head down, and everyone's got their head down behind the try line. He's just come over, and you know when he's got the look in his eyes, and who shot out the line? I've looked up, I said, me, and he knew I was on debut and sort of, don't do it again, and just let me go. So, yeah, I just remember how quick it was.
Can't cover everything here because we've got to go into your coaching career. But your Raiders career, so the following year play 11 games, and year by year you get more time. But then 2002, Todd, you leave the club. Like, it's hard to work out, given the fact that you debuted in 1996 as a 17-year-old. How do you look back on your Raiders career? Did you feel like you didn't reach your potential there?
Yeah, absolutely. They made the decision to move me on, and I would have done the same if I was in their position. I come in at a young age, had some experienced guys around, they retired, and then I just took it for granted. Didn't work hard enough, and the easiest way to describe, you know, now I live for footy, and back then footy was living for me. And I was moved on, I went to the Roosters and come in after they won the comp against the Warriors and just learn how to train again, and yeah, learn how to be professional. They train hard.
Why the Roosters? Did Ricky come for you?
Yeah, it was through Ricky and my association with him. We'd played together, and yeah, I was very fortunate to walk into a team that knew how to win, they knew how to train, and they knew how to have a bit of fun too, you know, with the group of players that they had. But they didn't let the fun get in the road of what needed to be done.
What did you take out of Ricky's coaching, Todd, that you're recognising yourself now?
Yeah, Ricky can be direct, and I think I can be direct. I'd like to say I'm a bit fluffier in delivering the message than Rick, but certainly I enjoyed that as a player, you know, knowing exactly where you stand, and I try and be as honest as I can as a coach now.
Only one season at the Roosters, Toddy. Why?
Salary cap. I think I'm the only player in Roosters history to be shifted because of the cap. But so when I got there, they were just starting to have some success, and all those younger players like Flannery, Crocker, Wing, Minicello were getting rep bonuses. So, yeah, they were over the cap, and I was last in and first out, and end up at the Tigers.
Godsend, in hindsight.
Yeah, it was.
Tim Sheens, like your old mentor, Tasty, I interviewed Sheens and he said, when he picked you up, he said, he's exactly what we needed, a skill-based player for a skill-based game plan. I reckon every player in their career has that coach that understands them, knows how to get the best out of them. Is that Sheensy for you? Is that man?
Yeah, he didn't pigeonhole me in the way that he wanted me to play. I never really seen Tim play, but I understand that he was a bit of a ball-playing prop as well. So, yeah, he tailored parts of our game plan around my skill set, but in saying that, he did it for the rest of the group. You know, we had different points of attack. We had Robbie out of 9. You know, we had Princey and Benj, and then we had some forwards that were mobile and skillful and could pass the ball. So, yeah, it was a good time at footy.
Towards the back end of 2005, Sheensy, and I just ran into Sheensy and assistant coach Royce Simmons, and I said, come and have a look. Yeah, they could see how proud they were of the side and the style you were playing. He said, come and have a look. I remember Toddy going to a training session, and it actually changed the way I thought about football, how everyone was just plugged in together, everyone was perfectly synchronised. It was really beautiful to watch. Have you taken a lot of those principles, put them into your coaching?
Yeah, try to play the strengths of our squad. I think our squad at the moment is well balanced. Our 1, 7, 6 and 9 are a threat. I think our back 5 are strong, they're skillful. You know, we've got some forwards that can pass the ball, and our edge back rows are quite dynamic in different ways, you know. So we're not focused in one area. We've got some threats across the park, and when we get it right, we're hard to defend. So you retire in 2011. First year of coaching, 2012, you take over the Tigers under-20 side and you win the comp. First go. I remember you belted Canberra on grand final day. What were your strengths back then and what were your weaknesses? Well, I knew how to play front row, and that's about it. When I had some halves and wingers asking me at different stages early in the pre-season, it just opened my eyes up about how little I knew about the game, and told a few porkies.
Well, it worked.
It make it.
It worked. Now, Toddy, 2015, you moved to North Queensland, first stint at the Cowboys, assistant coach under Paul Green. What was it like coaching Jonathan Thurston? Yeah, it was enjoyable. I was a little bit gun-shy to start with Jono, and you know, he's one of the best players in the world, and my thought process was, well, how am I going to tell him what to do, you know? But after a while, he sort of pulled me aside and said, mate, tell me the truth. I want to know, and that's what I've worked out, is that the elite players want to be coached and they want some information, and yeah, he put me at ease with that. Funny story, he didn't want me at the club. You know, obviously we had a history, Tigers versus Cowboys. When Peter Parr brought the subject up with Jono said, no way, he's not at our club. And in the end, he had to be talked around, and I'm grateful that they talked him around. Was the rivalry that bitter? Did that surprise you? No, it didn't. No, it wasn't bitter. Yeah. It just typifies the type of competitor Jono is, you know. Doesn't like to lose, and I'd run across Jono at different times in different places, and, you know, he was always a decent fella to talk to, but, you know, losing grand finals is hard to get over. And you went to the Warriors in 2020 under Steve Kearney, and he gets sacked and they put you in as interim coach. I'm curious, like, first time in the hot seat, really in the hot seat, and people talk about the pressure of it. You eventually get them going really good, but that first 4 to 6 weeks really tough. How are you holding up then?
Yeah, I was okay. Yeah, we had a few things going on at the time. We were here on our own. You know, a lot of the families, all the Kiwi families, couldn't get across. So the players that had Australian wives or partners, they were there. After a couple of weeks, I grabbed the group and said, look, I understand there's some things going on, and if you want to go home, I'm not going to stand in your road. And we had 4 guys make the decision to go home to the family. The players didn't hold it against them, the staff didn't hold it against them, but my message was, if we're here, we're all in.
What did you learn about yourself as a coach in that stint at the Warriors?
Yeah, I guess from my whole time at the Warriors, I learnt how great a city Auckland was. Beautiful, great city. The club is full of good people, and they want the club to do really well. There's some long-termers there. You know, it's not a transit lounge. They want the club to do well. They'll fight and work hard for it. I learned a lot about how important get your travel right, going back and forth and streamlining those days. Also learnt off Mooks that it's okay to be loved and respected to be a coach. You know, you don't have to coach in fear. And I guess at the back end of our time in Australia, I just learnt how important connection and energy is. And I think, you know, enjoyment is another thing that's important to what we do.
Not a lot of first-grade jobs come up, Toddy. There's a lot of really good coaches that aren't coaching at the moment, can't find a job. They offer you the full-time job, but you knock it back. What was the main reason there?
Yeah, we had some family challenges. I didn't anticipate moving the family to be a challenge like it was, and it was. Our kids were, I think they were 10, 8 and 6 at the time. Yeah, we were all happy together, but I just knew that I was the only one that was thriving. And then Jules's father, you know, he was crook. And during that whole pandemic period, you kind of learn what's important. And it wasn't easy. I turned the job down, not having a job, and had a few sleepless nights, and then kind of made the decision. And I knew I was making it for the right reasons, and that allowed me to sleep better.
When did the Cowboys reach out?
Probably, I didn't get an interview till 3-4 weeks after I'd turned it down, and that process went for another month. Yeah, and I found out maybe 2 days before my family got out of quarantine, coming back to Australia, and I was able to tell them face to face after they arrived, and just the look on their faces, and my oldest boy, yeah, burst into tears, and that was pretty cool.